going to be fun for people listening.
I'm sad.
I know, I'm really sad too.
I was in like a place of, I've told you this before, but I was like, for the record, I handle things with hard denial.
Yep.
So
like for a long time.
You've known that?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, you deny it for a long time. Like you're still not 100% about Santa Clarita Diet. You still haven't fully reached acceptance in that either.
No. So
your grief stages are like 4 really, really short ones and then like the longest denial of anyone living.
It's like, it's healthier that way.
It's definitely not.
Well, you just like hold off until you forget about it.
I mean, okay.
This was a really good episode.
It was an exceptionally good episode.
That's part of the other issue is when we get to the end, we might feel differently about this season because for a lot of it, we didn't really know where we were going. And we certainly have an idea of where we're going now, but also, and fundamentally so, everyone was together in ways that were fun and exciting. And my biggest fear with them canceling the show now was that they didn't go into the season knowing that. So I was afraid it was going to be a little bit, well, not even slapped together. You know what I mean? Like I was afraid it was going to feel incomplete in some way. And I know that Sarah and John said specifically that it did end in a good place.
Because they like had an idea.
Yeah. Well, I wanted it to feel very deliberate. I wanted it to be like the greatest hits. I wanted them to bring in all these characters and I wanted to like kind of go back to the beginning a little bit and really sort of rally, the troops. And seeing this most recent episode, I am at the place where I'm like, I think they did kind of know.
Okay.
Because they're doing that. They're literally doing, because remember, I had even made my peace with the fact that we were done with Marina. I was like, well, at least she came back this season.
And I think she's in at least one more.
Absolutely. And they're just bringing characters back in a way. And it's a similar, I feel similarly to this, and I think I've made this comparison before, but I did about earlier seasons of Game of Thrones where I was like, the show has a way of surprising me with like not only obvious conclusions, but it's like it gives me things I didn't even know I wanted. Yeah. Or that I don't think are possible because I don't see it a lot. Like, for instance. Yeah. Were you going to elaborate? Or?
I was going to say one, which is at this late stage in the game where
it's probably the same thing I was going to say.
We've known Fen for 4 seasons now. And at this late stage in the game, Fen has finally had enough. And she was like, you know what? Fuck all you fools. I'm not helping you with this until someone apologizes for treating me like shit constantly. And if to their credit, they finally did. But it was that scene with her and Eliot was a delight. It was wonderful. It was very deftly handled. The two of them have such a really, really cool chemistry because it's not sexual and it's like friendship, but it's a different friendship than his friendship with Margot. And it's like,
I've had a little bit of a hard time. I feel like he should be slightly fonder of her than he is.
I think Eliot should absolutely be nicer to Fen. He is very dismissive of her in a way that like even in season 2 and 3, when they were together more, he was more accepting and nice to her then than he has been for the last 2 seasons in a way that I'm like, what happened? Like, why are you like your troubles are not Fen's cause? Like, Fen didn't cause them.
But him being self-centered, I don't think is completely out of character.
No, but being dismissive to a woman who he has known now for years and was very affectionate to in a way for a while to the point where they were having sex and she got pregnant. I just like, feels like it forges more of a bond than they have been displaying.
She was a partner to him in a way that I thought that the show only rarely touched on. And she's gotten decent material, but it's not unlike, and I mean, this is a slightly faulty comparison because we didn't really get Eliot. I actually think ship names are stupid, but the show surprises me by going places that other shows wouldn't. Like typically a character like Finn in another show, well, she would have been killed off already, but
true,
to further Eliot's story,
or to like save Quentin.
Mm-hmm. She got her episode last season about the side characters.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, this is awesome. And also that would have been it. And even that would have been more than we were accustomed to. And so for them, because it was like the first time when Eliot and Margot and Quentin slept together. And I was like, oh my God, I got a bisexual, threesome.
That's in the first half of season 1.
Yeah, I was like, that's wild. And I'm like, I should count myself lucky. And then we get not only Life in the Day and, the entirety of season 4. And it's like, man. So it does feel just slightly. No, I actually think the timing of it was all pretty good, because they've been short with her this whole season.
Well, yeah, and she has lost her patience with many of them this season, like specifically when they were meeting with the fairies and Margot was being Margot with the fairies, and she literally was like, Ember's balls, Margot, you can't just come in here. And
she undid 2 weeks of work that Finn was doing. Yeah. And it's like, because I've been saying for a while that I think should be Queen of Fillory. Like, I think that she should be High King, quote unquote.
Absolutely. And that was what I liked so much about this episode and her conversation with Eliot, is she was like, if this was Earth that we were trying to save, you would be trying to think of anything else than blowing it up and starting a new one. What about the things that we're going to lose that we can't take with us? What about our history and our religion and like all of this
Even
stuff?
From the notion that Fillory has culture, like, because from the beginning when he was quoting the scripture and she pops into frame, I was like, I just really enjoy that. I thought that was something, and world building is something the show did really well.
Well, and it's something else too that goes into the Chronicles of Narnia of it all, which is these humans just sort of show up and take a dump all over this world that isn't theirs, with no regard to how it operates when they aren't there. And so it's really interesting to get the sense of what it's like from an insider, because you don't really get that in any of the Narnia books either. It's not like, it's always about how the humans are impacting the stuff, and to be like, no, we are human people as well, fully formed with like, agency of our own, and you want to destroy all of our history. That's a problem. Like, I really liked that they, like, because that's not something that you get from any of the Narnia things, and having Eliot and company for all 5 seasons having been like, this is just like a cool vacation spot for us, and we're kings, and
also we a thorn in their side.
Exactly, 100%. It's a very interesting and nuanced conversation that, like you say all the time, a lesser show would not be investigating.
Well, and furthermore, I mean, just going back to that scene that they had together when, oh shit, I forgot the joke he made. Eliot made a joke when he first walked in, like an Earth reference, and she was just like, I don't know what that means.
Oh yeah, he was like, I'm sorry that we've all been treating you like the friend you only invite to trivia night.
Right.
Yeah.
The character of Finn is a hair on the daffy side, but the characters a lot of times treat her like she's an idiot, and it's like, no, she's from another reality. It's like,
well, yeah, it's sort of like having a foreign friend.
It actually reminds me of a really brilliant episode of Modern Family early on, where they're like all piling on Gloria, and she's just like laughing, and they're piling, and she's laughing, and they're piling, and then she just starts screaming in Spanish.
And I like, because there's another point with Gloria where she gets mad. She's getting mad at what's his name? The husband, Ed
O'Neill.
Ed O'Neill,
Jay.
yeah. And she's like, you have no idea how smart I am in Spanish. And I just am like, that's such a true thing, because it's like, just because you don't have a full grasp on the culture that you're currently in doesn't mean that you're stupid. And that's how they treat Fen, is that she's stupid. And it's like, she's not stupid. She has all of this knowledge, but you never ask for her opinion.
And it like goes back around to one of the things that we said in our first Magicians episode, where it's like, she's actually such a incredible soldier in a show that needs soldiers.
Yeah. And I want to really call out Brittany Curran, who has been like not even a dark horse favorite. She's just been like one of our literal favorites since like the moment she was cast.
The moment she took over the role, yeah.
100%. And she's so funny, and she makes such good comedic choices. And I love her so much. I'm going to follow all of the people that are on the show because they're all exceptional. But she's one that I'm going to be like actively looking for her next projects.
And I'm going to be sad when she's not wearing all these amazing dresses.
I know, this floofy skirt and the like big sleeved blouse that she's wearing are like it so at first. Good.
She thought it was matronly.
No.
And then she ended up loving it, but
yeah, incorrect. She looks so good in it, and it's like the like heavily pleated skirt is just like really cute. I love the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that I wanted to touch on again about this show and its excellence, and this has been a trying season. It really has been, but it had a tall order, and I'm at a place now where I'm like, now I do want season 6 and 7.
Yeah, I mean at least 6. I'm with you. I just want it to feel on purpose.
But I loved the thing they did with Hyman all around. I love that I love that the show understands. It's very Joss Whedon-esque in that way, where it's like they value the pawns that they're given and start like, because it's like Marina was only meant to be in like 3 episodes and she's turned into a series wide character. Hyman, it's like that was just like a one-off episode, and now he's like a fan favorite. Like,
well, and it's similar with Todd, and I love the way that you said they value the pawns, because not to get like, you know, too like chessy on Maine, I guess, but like pawns are very important characters. Do you like that? Do you like that? But in a serious way, pawns are like important characters on the chessboard.
Well, it's like the soldier. I mean, that I picked that word specifically.
100%. And that's the thing where like you're right about Hyman and Marina and Todd and like Pete the hedge witch and that one librarian guy that we saw in this episode. Hell, those are all people. That's like a deep...
Professor Lipton. Keegan Connor Tracy is gigging.
Yeah, that's a deep bench of like tertiary characters that are just hanging back until we need them. And it was even kind of meta tonight. Keegan Connor Tracy was like, you know, I have things to do besides just like diagnose you bitches here. And like that was really... interesting. It's just, this is the way that I think more shows should be run. And it actually, I'm going to say something in direct opposition to what I mean, because Sarah Gamble also worked on Supernatural, but Supernatural is constantly throwing away characters that you're not done with. And like early on in the Vampire Diaries, they did it too, because like Ariel Kebble and,
oh, I remember.
And Lauren Cohan were both on like a short runs. And then I was like, they're vampires. But then they like legit killed them and they never came back. And I just was like, this is absurd. But that's the kind of thing that I appreciate so much about this, because really not a lot of people have died for real in a way that we can't still visit with them. And I appreciate that in the way that they're using it. Which is what makes Quentin
the exception that proves the rule, which
100%.
Side note, I only just last week understood that phrase.
What?
The exception that proves the rule.
Oh, yeah. I
knew what it meant. I knew what people meant when they said that, but logistically it never made sense to me until I forgot what it was that triggered me. But I was like, oh, the mere fact that there is an exception proves that it's like a rule has to exist in order for you to break it.
Correct.
And I was like, it was like my world got a little bit smaller in a good way. I was like, But it's like, that's why we needed the Quentin thing. It's like we needed that shock to our system.
Something needed to have stakes so that when other things don't have stakes, it still works.
But so back to my Hyman thing, it's like not only did they bring him back, but they have also potentially set up an endgame with him and Finn.
I feel like that's going to be one of the things that doesn't get finished.
Yeah. But I mean, that was a meet cute.
It was very cute. Yeah.
And then they had a just absolutely brilliant scene with him and Penny 23, where he was talking about how he shipped Penny and Julia before they shipped them.
Yeah.
And how he was talking about like how he had ownership over their relationship because he used to spy, used to eavesdrop as a ghost and watch them. And the thing for me that made it so brilliant is that it even still was subtle. Like it wasn't this huge tentpole scene in the episode.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to know what they're talking about in order to get it. But it's like, first of all, I love when people don't apologize. Not in every instance. Apologize if you're wrong. But it's like, I do love when people are brave enough to be like, no, I said what I said. Yeah. And then also stick it to people. It's like it was one of the reasons why I did like Joan Rivers is she didn't walk things back. You know what I mean? It's like, and there was something sort of refreshing about that. And so it like, because obviously, I mean, that was a commentary on the way some fans
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
We're reacting to the Quentin and Eliot thing. And yet again, I mean, we're 10 episodes into this season, and Hale Appleman is still delivering gutting monologues about losing.
That I think too is what's so interesting about the show, because on any other show, 10 episodes in, the character-driven emotional stuff would be over. Mm-hmm. We would have stopped focusing on that 3 or 4 episodes ago, but we are still doing that because this is a character-based story. It's not just about the plot.
This was a super plotty episode, but so much of it was character-driven. I mean, the stuff with Marina and Kady and Alice, and it's like, this is the most I've ever liked Kady, and I think it's been because of the way that they're incorporating her into the group.
I agree, and also early...
And putting her and Alice together.
Yeah, putting her and Alice together should have happened so much longer ago, I feel like. And especially because for so long, all we had of Kady was like, my mom was a junkie hedge witch, and I got in with Marina, and then I was on heroin. And it was just like, that's too many bad things, and like, she was just not like enough reason for it.
She was just pure chip on her shoulder.
Yeah, 100%. And she's gotten a lot of depth, and like, I think...
a sense of humor.
And a sense of humor. And I think especially having had to now watch not her Penny, but someone who looks like the love of her life be in love with her friend.
Who she has a troubled past with.
Yeah, I think that's tough. And I think that has helped her character growth in an interesting way. I love it.
And frankly, I mean, even the stuff with Marina, it's like, that's a character that is not crucial to the world or to the show, but it's like, oh, crap. I had a point I was going to make, and I can't remember what it was. It had to do with her sociopathy. Like,
sociopathy.
There you go. Because, like, nice Marina's a drip.
Yeah, nice Marina's kind of a pain in the ass. She has to go to church.
That was so funny, because I was like, this is one of the rare occasions where it's like someone going to church makes them better.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you need to. But
yeah, go.
So they did jailbreak her, though.
Yeah.
And we got to meet her girlfriend, which that's something that I have said. I was like, she mentioned it once, and I've always wanted to go back to that plot point. But she is also still along for the ride. And do we need to really address the concern with Penny and with Julia's pregnancy? Basically, having a traveler baby can drive you insane.
Yeah, I feel that Julia's going to be fine because she's still got that goddess shit going around. And Penny's mother, I think, didn't know about magic, and just the dad was maybe magic or something.
But that was the concern.
That having was the concern, yeah.
A traveler baby is hell on the mother.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Like I said, I'm really not concerned, although I'm at a place where I feel like someone else is going to die.
I think maybe one more person's going to die, or everyone's going to die.
Yeah. Because I was going to say, are we going to take out both Quentin and Julia, the king and queen?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Some of that goes into the stuff that I'm still not 100% sure if they are going the way of the book or not.
Well, and also, it's like a show this subversive. It's something I say a lot, where I was like, you reach a point when subverting things where it's like part of subverting is the times that you lean into cliches and tropes. And so it's like, are we in the place where Margot's going to die? Or are we in the place where Josh is going to die? Or where they both survive? You know what I mean? It's like there's 3 different ways that they could. It's like the end of Spartacus, where I know you never ended up watching it, but spoiler alert for Spartacus Blood and Sand. They clean house, and it's like the only people that come out of that series alive is the female lead from the final season and the 2 gay, the gay couple.
Right.
And it's because that was the least expected. And it's not just because it was least expected, but you know what I mean?
Sure.
It was exciting to watch. It was kind of like, oh, fun. Yeah, so I don't know. I really don't know what we're building to. I do find it interesting. First of all, Sean Maguire, I think, is better than he gets credit for. Yeah,
definitely. We talked about that a couple weeks ago because we were like, once upon a time, I would have never guessed that Sean Maguire was such a good actor. And he's been like really nailing it.
Well, he's so
season.
Handsome in a way that and I think the opportunities that his talents have provided him are very conventional. And so to be the sexist pig, I think, has given him something
I mean, he's unrecognizable in that role, but I agree with you.
I see it now in the eyes, but
and the voice, but
just like I want him and Julia. I want a bottle episode of the 2 of them trapped in a magic vault, because he's on top of that, he's proper, so it's like he doesn't want to offend her or to be. It's very funny. But basically, he's the whole reason that we're all in this mess. And it turns out that the apocalypse that he was warning against is the plan that our heroes are hatching right now.
Yeah.
And so it's very Catch-22. It's very meta in that way. And I just remembered.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a bummer. We are gonna be bummed for the next 2 episodes as well. It's a bummer.
Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened to begin with.
Ugh.
You're like, on that note,
we're gonna put you on the side of a coffee mug. Jesus.